What is it that's making people move to Nashville, Tennessee? That's the question I get a lot. Actually, I ask that question a lot of those who are moving to Tennessee to find out what are some of their main reasons. Now, today we're going to talk about that. What are the 4 top reasons that people are moving to Tennessee? I totally get it. We were the 5th most moved to state in 2021 and 2022 behind Texas, Florida, and the 2 Carolinas. So, and since most of the migration came from the far western states that you probably already know about, that's a long way to come all the way over here. Why are they coming? We're going to talk about the 4 top reasons. Hey, you're going to want to stick around to the very end. There's something that I think is so funny. I didn't do it. There's a comedian who has recently moved to Nashville from, I won't tell you where. You're going to have to watch to the end. So spin through this if you want, because I'm a slow talker southerner, I'm told. But go on, stick through it, watch to the end. You're going to think she's just as funny as I am, I'm sure. And she lives here. So that's another reason to move. I'm Susan Thetford with eXp Realtors, native Nashvillian, and every single week on this show we talk about different topics that are pertinent to those who are thinking of moving to Tennessee. So if you are thinking of moving to Nashville, go ahead and subscribe to this because you don't want to miss any of the topics that we talk about here every single week. So as I mentioned, I talk to those people who are calling me every single week saying, I'm moving to Nashville, I'm moving to Tennessee, we need to talk. I ask them, what are some of the key reasons that you are moving? Number 1, I hear consistently. Now, I don't think this is the number 1 reason, but it is consistently one of the top reasons that people are choosing to move here, and that's because of our taxes. I know you know about it. We are one of 9 states, and I get it. The government takes too much of our money already. If you disagree with me, don't bother with coming to Tennessee, by the way. Our government takes too much of our money. So you need to know where you can spend as little as possible on those taxes, right? Tennessee is one of 9 states that have no state income tax. Now, I'm not going to lie. You've heard it before. We do have sales tax, and we have sales tax on food. Our sales tax runs at 7%, then each city has its own local taxes. So here in Nashville, our sales tax rate is at 9.25. A little bit different in different counties. We do have tax-free weekends. We're back to school. We have a month and a half, I think it's 6 weeks even, of no tax on groceries. So it's a great time to stock up on all kinds of canned items. But we do have sales tax, no state income tax. And that's a huge reason that many people are able to save, I don't know, anywhere from 3 to 13% on their state income taxes from whatever home state they happen to be coming from. That adds up a lot. Another tax that people are very happy to hear that we don't have, and they often are surprised by this one, is Tennessee, we are not taxed on dividend income and investment money. So the Hall income tax on dividends has been repealed within the last 2 years, I believe. So as people are getting toward retirement age, that's really important to them, as they might start withdrawing money. So as people are getting to retirement age, they've built up these giant nest eggs. They can do their one-time sales, federal tax sale on their home, keep that money, and then interest and dividend income is also not taxed. That's really preferable when you've been working your entire lifetime to grow that big nest egg to keep as much as possible. That's a giant benefit that many people don't know about here in Tennessee. So with that in mind, let me tell you about a couple who did move here, and it was specifically because of this highly beneficial situation when people are getting to retirement age. They wanted to be sure to retire and live out the rest of their life here in Tennessee because that kept more of their money for them during that retirement, and also then setting up trusts and doing some things that would make it very, very beneficial for their heirs upon their deaths. That's a big reason they needed to make Tennessee be their primary home for all those tax benefits. Brilliant strategy. Another reason that I am told, and this is by a lot of business owners, is the fact that Tennessee is far less regulated than many, many states. It's very favorable for business owners. So not only do we have a lot of large corporations moving here and bringing in lots of employees, and the employees obviously are coming with them, their employees are coming here because we have great educated employment pool to choose from right here. But they're also having many people decide to move with them from different states. The corporations moving here because we're very beneficial as a corporate atmosphere for businesses. Some of the states that are the most highly regulated states are some of those far west states and eastern, and I'm not picking on California. California's number one, is the highly most regulated states. Most of the places that California businesses left and moved to, Tennessee is the number 5 place, tied with Florida. Of the companies that left California for better regulated states, they went to Texas, Arizona, Colorado, North Carolina, Florida, and Tennessee were tied as number 5. Again, that's a long way to go, but those corporations are moving. Now, one of the big reasons for that is some of the highly most regulated industries are insurance, petroleum, coal production, and paper manufacturing. Now, we are very good in all of those industries here. So not only is it not new industries to our state, but we have a lot of employment. We have a lot of the people who can do those industries, and we're more tax friendly, regulation friendly for those industries. That's why we're getting a lot more of them right here in Tennessee. And I know most people think of California as being, or maybe even North Carolina as being the tech triangles. But one of my customers has moved here with Oracle. Oracle is building a giant campus on our riverfront downtown, and a lot of people, I haven't even heard, I don't want to say the last number of people that I've heard, who are actually moving from another state to come here with Oracle. And of course, again, we've got a good employment pool of people for right here. But one of my recent customers did move here with Oracle, which has moved out of California, moving their headquarters. I know a lot of large companies are moving their headquarters to Tennessee and all across the state, but Nashville downtown and also in the Brentwood area. Why are people moving to Nashville? This one I'm hearing a lot. It's the cost of living. And that, of course, combines with the no state income tax situation. But in addition to the cost of living is all the little things that go into that cost of living that adds up on a day-to-day basis. According to niche.com, Nashville gets a B+ rating. Now, I'm going to say Nashville in general. Nashville is an 8-county SMSA. And when niche.com looked at it, they also were looking at that. If you've been watching this show for a while, you know that we talk about Sumner County has Hendersonville, Wilson County has Mount Juliet and Lebanon we talk about quite a bit. Then when you go down south, you've got in Williamson County, Brentwood, Franklin, Nolensville, Spring Hill. So we talk about all those areas, but let's talk about Nashville in general. Niche.com gave us a B+ rating. Now, where does that rating come from? As best places to live throughout the country. So the entirety of Nashville is what they consider in that. And what goes into that rating scale is cost of living, housing, recreation, crime and safety, all the things that you can basically think of the major categories. You can take a look at it. And actually, I've got a video that I did on that. I'll show you toward the end, because you're really nuts and bolts of the cost of getting your car tag permitted and the cost of gasoline, cost of utilities, deep dive into it. But basically the cost of living is a number 3 reason that so many people give me that they are moving to Nashville. One of the main reasons that I think Nashville doesn't get an A rating, really, is because of our cost of housing. And that truly has grown precipitously in the last couple of years. Median price of a home now is right at $425, they say. And depending on where you actually decide to live, it can be a little bit higher than that or quite a bit lower than that. Whether you want to live in an urban atmosphere of 15 minutes from downtown Nashville on the west side in maybe Belmead, Green Hills, the Gulch, or you want to be more of a rural atmosphere and you want to be 25, 40 minutes out. You can be over in Ashland City. You can be in the western side of Bellevue. There's a place for you in this Nashville SMSA that doesn't hit those highs of that median, and there's something for you regardless of type of lifestyle that you want. Do you want to be in an HOA, single family home? Got it. If you want to be outside of an HOA, it's going to be an older home. It will have larger lot size. Those conversations are what we need to have so we can pinpoint the perfect place for you. But with a B+ rating and all the great things that people are telling me about Nashville, the tax situation, we can find the right home for you if you determine this is the right place for you. So let me share with you a story about a couple who moved from San Francisco with their 2 small children. The cost of that lifestyle was eating them up and they basically had no savings. However, they did have a big nest egg built into their home because they've been in the San Francisco area for 5 years. When they moved here, we found them the perfect home. They were so excited. They've got their children in the good private schools. One of the children's going to be homeschooled. That's a big thing we've got here. Really good homeschooling, I guess, core groups. But what they found after a year and a half of being here is the cost of living allowed them, they were so used to spending so much money on some of the other things in San Francisco area that they were able to save up using that same kind of putting aside that money. They were able to save up for a good down payment and have now bought a small rental property. So it's allowing people to free up some of their assets and to really grow something that is going to be something their children will have and inherit. Number 4, this is, to me, the most important thing. You've got your taxes, you've got your cost of living, you've got corporate deregulation, so many of the things that makes us a place you need to look at. Here's the reason I think it's a place that everyone is really craving in their life right now, and that's freedom. It's freedom to raise your children the way you want them raised. It's freedom to be able to have a conversation in a disagreement with somebody maybe about a point of view, but not a fight, not an argument, and not a feeling that you have to keep what you think quiet because it's just not worth the effort of having a conversation. The freedom to have conversations and still not hate people or be angry. And that's surprising to me, but the more and more and more I hear of it coming from different areas and people being almost like a breath of fresh air when they realize they actually can talk to the person sitting at the table next to them who's been waiting for 15 minutes for their food, and they can say, hey, where are you from? We're from we're from ever. I don't mean to bug on California. We're from New Jersey. How are you liking it here? How are you finding it here? They don't get the snub. And you get people who do turn around and do speak because we're friendly. And we look at people as we walk by them on the street. We're not staring down at our phone the whole time, except I might be, but that's my bad habits. It's not because we don't want to look at somebody eye to eye. It's just a very different feeling. And it's so nice to, after the second or third day of people coming here and visiting with them and seeing them, they just look more relaxed. The shoulders are more down. They're relaxed. It's the freedom that a lot of places don't realize they've been stolen. Now, one of the things that makes me very happy and proud of our state, and there are things that are not right. I don't want to tell you it's perfect. It is not. But one of the things that I'm very happy to see in the last 2 weeks, because that illness that has destroyed our country for the last 2 years is rearing its ugly head again. Tennessee is one of 15 states that has banned vaccine mandates. Get that. One of 15. 15 is great. Look at any of the 15. I don't care. Go get your freedom and have your own choice. Number 2, so we were one of the least shut down states when that did happen. And I don't think we're going to fall for it again. But we opened back up. We allowed businesses to make their choices as to what they wanted to do rather than having those mandates. That freedom to make your own choices and then do with it what you will, but also talk about it and not have a fight or an argument. So I just can't imagine living under that kind of constrictions. One of the other things that people mention to me a lot is there's a lot to do to be active. Now, we have a lot of people who are pretty overweight. We have good food. Our food is really good. And there's all kinds. It's not just Southern. And I don't like sushi, but I'm told there's some phenomenal sushi places. We've got every kind of food you can imagine. It's not just deep fried Southern, but that stuff's pretty good. But there is so much to do and be outside. So although you will need a car, I guarantee you're going to need a car. We're not as walkable as many cities to walk off those extra pounds. But there's so much to do here. Fishing, walking. We have over 100 miles of parks and greenways that are right here within this Nashville SMSA. And then hundreds and hundreds of national parks and dedicated parks. You can ride your bike down the Natchez Trace for hundreds of miles, all the way to Natchez, Mississippi if you want to. But here in the Williamson County area, there's a place, we'll find, when we find the location of where you want to live, Then I can show you within 10-15 minutes of pretty much anywhere I can think of a greenway to go walk and get some good exercise on sidewalks. It may be under the trees. There's a place for you. If you want to be active, there's no excuse not to be. There are great day trips to go to hiking. You can spelunk. You can, we got the water. We've got the 2 lakes. There's so much to do here that's outdoor and active, and you've got the 4 seasons. There's nothing prettier than a very brisk walk on a cool fall morning. Or if you're one of the tens of thousands of people now who run during Thanksgiving on the Boulevard Bolt, which is a charity run up and down Belmead Boulevard, that's a blast. So there's nothing you can't do if you want to have that outdoor activity. We've also got music, not just downtown, but pretty much everywhere you can think of. There you can find some bluegrass festivals in some of the rural areas. There was one going on last week in Hohenwald, and it's a 3-day bluegrass festival. You can find music everywhere, all types of music. It's not just country. It's anything you might want. There's so much to do, see, be active within this area that I can promise you, as a newcomer to the state, every single weekend you could go to a different area and go exploring and have great day trips for you and your whole family. But there's so much to do to keep active here. Another thing that I'm told repeatedly, once people have gotten a chance to really be here, is that we uphold the family values. It's still the Southern traditional convention here. We are in the Bible Belt. That doesn't mean you have to go to church, but it does mean there's a church on pretty much every corner that you can choose from if you want to find your home church. You can find a giant mega church, or you can find much smaller community churches, whatever you want. But it does have still those family values. I mean, I don't know about you, but I remember my grandmother's look that could stop me from doing anything that I even could thought about doing just with the look. I gotta tell you, a lot of these Southern women, we still have that look in our grandchildren, hopefully keep minding it. But it matters. You know, we've always been told, you don't do anything that you don't want your grandmother up in heaven seeing, or you wouldn't be proud of to have your mom and dad see. That's still the basis of so much that is the principles here that people are craving. And I think it makes this a very nice place to live. Back to Southern charm. It's the same thing. Southern politeness. You wave to people as they drive by. We pull over whenever there's a funeral. You pull over on the side of the road and you do not drive. You let anybody and everybody go through. So a lot of newcomers don't know what in the world. Suddenly you'll find people pulling over on the road. You can't figure out what's going on. We pull over for funerals. We're polite. You know, let's not change that. Please, let's not change that. That's one of the things that I think a lot of people are afraid of. So those are the top 4 reasons that I'm hearing from people who have moved to Tennessee that I've worked with in the last couple of years. They are telling me that they are moving. The top 4 reasons. If you've stayed this long, you do yourself a favor. Be sure to listen to this. This is Carolyn Xavier. She is a comedian who has recently moved to Nashville. Funny as heck. And if you live here, you can see her at some of the local haunts all around. Next week, she's going to be in Columbia. Very funny lady. And I love her take on being here in Nashville. Deadpan, dry, my kind of humor.
Recovering Californian. And sometimes when you move across country, you can miss home. So what I do is I just grab some iced coffee and I get on Highway 65 in Tennessee and I just sit in traffic with all the other Californians. So if you're here and you're missing home, just get on the freeway. We'll have a little reunion. Also, Tennessee's full, by the way. If you're thinking about relocating, it's terrible. The taxes are so high. Google says there's no state taxes. The state taxes are 10 times worse than California. And the traffic is terrible. And the people are so mean. So, Kentucky's great.
I'm Susan Thetford. I'll see you next week.